Managers, what do you do when an employee says, wait, I have to use their pronouns? Yes, you do. That's a performance issue, not a beliefs issue. Microaggressions, not cute, not funny. They don't belong at work. They don't belong anywhere.
Bitch, you thought you ate that shit? Get the fuck out of here.
She really thought she cooked. She thought she ate now. She's like, hey guys, welcome back to another Normal Gays video where we take on LGBT insanity. I'm here in person in Miami with Clarkson Lawson. I'm Brad Polumbo. Guys, HR Karens, like woke white women in HR departments, are a menace.
Yeah, you know, I have worked in corporate America for most of my adult life, but I've always worked for companies that don't have an HR.
Ooh, that could also be potentially problematic, but I think there should probably be a sweet spot between zero HR and way too much HR.
For sure.
This video falls into the way too much HR, the kind of person that you got to keep far away from your company. We're going to listen to a HR TikTok influencer who just so happens to be a middle-aged woke white woman. No coincidence there whatsoever. She explaining why pronouns in the workplace are not preferred. They are mandatory.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Here we go again. Let's listen.
Managers, what do you do when an employee says, wait, I have to use their pronouns? Yes, you do. That goes against my religion. You don't argue. You say, I respect your beliefs, but at work we respect people, and that means using their name and pronouns. This isn't about agreement. It's about professional behavior, and personal beliefs do not excuse disrespect. Try this. No one's asking you to change your values, but here at work, we treat everyone with dignity, and that includes how they identify. Still refusing? That's a performance issue, not a beliefs issue.
A performance issue? You know, honestly, I kind of agree that religion shouldn't be an excuse to alienate people. However, I think this is taking it too far.
Yeah, you don't have a right to force everyone to call you at work what you want to be called. And if anyone doesn't accommodate it, they're like harming you. I mean, you must use people. Okay, if someone's pronouns are cat self.
Yeah. And
right?
There are people who are like that.
We have reacted to them on this podcast.
Seen them.
And you're telling me at work I have to use their pronouns or I'm like bullying them, and that's a performance issue at that point. You are, through the venue of HR, just enforcing ideological conformity. Yeah. Now, what I would say,
what happened to DEI?
That's what they do, but diversity, but just not for perspectives.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The whole point of DEI is to bring different perspectives, but when you've got HR like this, I guess you're not allowed to have them.
What's interesting to me is there's no actual room for compromise, because if you were to tell me that you have a trans person and a Christian person with deeply held beliefs working in the same space, and that Christian person doesn't want to use that trans person's pronouns, but also that trans person doesn't want to be misgendered in everyday conversation at work, I feel like a workable middle ground would be like, okay, maybe you could just use this person's name. Yeah. Like, so Susan is a trans woman. Instead of saying she, you could just say, oh, Susan is going to finish the report when Susan finishes it. Yeah. I feel like if HR asked you to do that, that would not be unreasonable, because you wouldn't be asked to violate your beliefs, but you also could be like courteous and not cause conflict or stir things up with another person. Right. But in this, they're like, fuck your beliefs.
They're just siding with the trans person.
They're just like, yeah, bow down to the trans altar. Mm-hmm. And that just breeds more resentment.
Yeah. And I feel like conflict resolution is part of HR's job, and there is no resolution here. It's just like, say it or you're going to get written up. Yeah. That's wild. I don't know. I mean, I say the pronoun, I try my best, but like, there comes a point where trans people have to have a certain amount of resilience to operate in everyday life, and religious people aren't going anywhere. And look, I'm not religious. I'm not a person who's like crazy about organized religion, but I also recognize that I live in a world where it exists. Yeah.
The other thing is, like, when your personal self-esteem or validation is based on other people affirming it, that's a problem. Like, you should be, honestly, like, say I work for myself, and I would struggle in any sort of office environment because I'm difficult, I've been told. But say that I worked with people who didn't believe, like, my partner and I aren't married yet, but say that we were, like, didn't believe my marriage was valid. So I don't care. Yeah. I believe my marriage is valid.
Right.
I don't really need Susan's validate. Well, wait, Susan was the trans person in my hypothetical, so I'm messing it up. But I don't need Christina's validation.
Right.
Right. I would prefer her not to be intentionally antagonistic or rude to me at work, but I don't need her validation. And that's the difference. Some of these people like need validation from others, and I would encourage them to look inward and get to the point where they're comfortable with themselves, and so they don't need everyone to affirm you all the time, because it's not realistic in a world that isn't friendly.
That also starts a conversation on how it's being treated, because affirmation is the first go-to when it comes to people with dysphoria, and it's kind of breeding this idea that in order to fix my dysphoria and make me comfortable, I can't look within myself. I can't find that fix within myself. I have to find it through nonstop affirmation. Like, it's quite literally what the doctors are doing.
Yeah, at the very least, they should be teaching them to draw that affirmation from the people that matter to them, not from strangers.
Right.
Because strangers will never validate you the world is not this like lovely kumbaya place where everyone's just friendly and lovely to you all the time and does whatever you want all the time. And I just feel like a lot of these people are in for a rude awakening. But I really do worry about the weaponization of human resources to enforce ideological conformity. I think it's widespread. I really do. I think it's widespread. And I think people will, over the years to come, outline a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's more from this lovely HR content Karen.
I'm sad.
We're going to learn, Clarkson, about microaggressions.
Oh, God. Fuck me. I can't. Okay. Let's do it.
Get ready to be educated. Are you ready?
Ears are open.
Let's talk microaggressions. You know, those small comments that actually aren't small at all. But where are you really from? You don't look gay. Yeah, those. Microaggressions tell people that they don't belong, that their identity is weird or surprising. And no, saying I didn't mean it like that doesn't make it okay. This is about impact, not your intent. If someone hurts you, don't get defensive. Say, thanks for letting me know, and then do better. Sometimes we make comments we don't even realize are offensive. But here's the grown-up part. Once we know better, we must do better. That's how culture shifts. Respect is the bare minimum. Microaggressions, not cute, not funny. They don't belong at work. They don't belong anywhere.
Bitch, you thought you ate that shit? Get the fuck out of here.
She really thought she cooked. She thought she ate now. And she's like, oh. My thing is, though, she's like, your microaggressions suggest that someone's identity might be weird or surprising. Some of y'all's identity is weird and surprising.
Yeah, and you want it to be because you want the validation for being weird. And also, I would put money on, speaking of microaggressions, if they do exist, I would put money on her gay friend being toyed around like a fucking tote bag, because she's got the whole personality for it. Like, I got a gay friend.
Also, I mean, listen, if somebody says to you, you don't look gay, it's not that deep. That is not profound. I mean, maybe that's not exactly right, because people can people don't like, but there is a gay look and a gay vibe, but it's not uniform, and people can be different ways and be straight or be gay. It's not that deep, though. Like, you are not really affected that meaningfully by these minor verbal tics. I think the whole concept of a microaggression is bullshit. There's very, very minimal and, in fact, contradictory research about it in terms of it being helpful or psychologically healthy. And then I actually think that it creates an environment where people are so afraid to say the wrong thing that it's stifling.
Well, yeah. And also there's part of this where she goes, it's not about the intent, it's about the damage. And that is so dangerous, to no longer care about the intent behind words.
I think the intent is the most important thing.
Intent is quite literally what a word, like it's just what a word describes. So if I don't know. So if intent doesn't matter, then what the fuck matters ever?
I don't know. But I really, there's a way that this kind of HRification of daily conversation and language allows the most petty and vindictive people in the world to bully and dominate spaces and conversations and like report other people for microaggressions. It's also unnecessary. It's also toxic. I've also always found the idea of microaggressions like kind of infantilizing and condescending towards different minority groups, like as if gay people are so fragile, as if black people are so fragile that this minor turn of phrase is going to profoundly harm them. Give me a break, honestly. I find the whole thing condescending. It is totally insane that they're still pushing this in 2025. But I mean, this kind of HR ideologies exist to perpetuate itself and its own importance when realistically, a lot of it could be done away with.
Yeah, I've dealt with a lot of people on TikTok who accuse me of microaggressions in like lives and stuff. And it's like, sure.
You have?
Yeah. Oh yeah. And they'll be like, that was a microaggression. And I literally looked in the live. I said, I don't give a fuck.
I don't care. Get over it before I macroaggress you.
Yeah. No, but there are people there's so many people who abuse it because it's a form of social power. It really is. Like they dominate people, just like Blossom saying, don't ever interrupt black trans woman when she's speaking. It's like they're all doing it to be able to bully people into submission and dominate social conversations. So whatever help it does for minorities, I promise you it does not outweigh the amount of bullying that has come from it.
I also think that the over hypersensitivity has given people fatigue to the point where, like, when everything is racist, everything is sexist, everything is homophobic, even the most minor verbal phrase, like in America, what is it? Like some of the ridiculous microaggression examples they've given, like, I don't see color or this kind of thing.
Oh, I interrupted her and it was a microaggression. Like there was a whole group of people that were like, you microaggressed this black woman on TikTok. I'm like, no, I interrupted her because she sounded fucking crazy.
And because that's what people do in adversarial conversations. Like that's the idea there, is that you should treat a black woman differently than you would treat me.
Right.
In a conversation or debate.
And I treat everybody terribly.
Yeah. I'm microaggressing to all of y'all right now.
Yep. Yep.
Well, guys, let us know what you think. But we will be policing and reporting your comments for microaggressions to this HR TikTok Karen. So she'll be on your case. I'm just kidding. But do let us know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button while you're at it. Make sure you're subscribed. If you aren't yet, what are you doing? Subscribe to Normal Gays, our channel. And also check out Clarkson's content linked in the description. And guys, with that, we'll be back with more Normal Gays content real soon.